room talk, baby.
The locker room.
Joel Thompson, what's going on, bro?
Not much, buddy. Just waiting for the Origin.
It's going to be a pretty, 90,000, I reckon?
Yeah, I'm not too sure. It might even be more. I'm not too sure. How many do they fit in there, the MCG? Is it MCG?
Yeah, I think someone said 100,000, but
100,000,
no, I'm
yeah.
talking about my ass, I don't know. But
sure.
It's going to be a good game, mate.
Yeah.
I'm loving the shit talk in the media. I'm loving that.
It was good to see Gal the other day, to be honest, and sort of come out and speak his mind, which
Yeah.
is good in rugby league, you know,
Oh.
to have them. You see a lot of interviews are very robot. You know, It's the same sort of thing. It's good to see him come out and, you know, get a bit fired up. It'll be a good game, but I don't know. I reckon I'll get into it one stage. Surely
Surely they've got to. Like,
there's been a big build up. There's going to be a few punches. I reckon Mez might throw one.
Did you... I messaged him and said, don't coward punch anyone.
I remember his last time he threw one. It was a little uppercut. I don't know what he was trying to do, eh?
Because on the back page of Courier Mail, it says, at least we're not drug cheats.
Yeah, which is pretty heavy.
Wow, that is
heavy. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I find it pretty... I don't know what type of journalism you'd call it, but it's they've really...
Yeah, they've really turned
lit
it up,
a fire.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is... you know, it's always good, but I think they've jumped on board. The players are, you know, speaking their mind, and it's only going to... Yeah, it's good. It's good for the game, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I think that's a big... I wouldn't say it's a problem, but I feel like the game has lost a bit of that edge that it used to have of, like, there was rivalries, there was people that hated each other, that was okay.
Yeah.
And people came to see that. People enjoyed it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the game is, you know, we need them characters around. We need, you know, Gal to speak his mind. I think more players to speak their mind. And I think, you know, I've done it before where I've said something in the paper and it's used as ammo for another team. And I learnt the hard way. I went to Manly and played against Manly, and I said that, you know, our attack should, you know, if we stuck to it, would score points. And I copped it on Twitter for a long time from the fans and from Manly. I don't think we even went through the line once. I don't think we scored, but I learned from speaking my mind that, and speaking was on my mind. It sort of backfired a bit, but you know, it's good. I copped it, but I got on with it. You know what I mean?
Since retiring from footy, the amount of people that come up to me and say they love it when players actually just say their mind and say what they're really thinking, because. I mean, I get it. I get it. Clubs need a clean image, and I completely understand. Clubs need a clean image, and they don't want any drama, and they don't want, you know, it to backfire and like that. Yeah. But the fans, I mean, look at guys like Wendell Saylor and stuff like that. They were fan favourites for a reason. They were a character. They were a character, or like Piggy Riddell. You know what I mean? They're fan favourites. So I enjoy it.
We might see a change. Hopefully, I know. You know, people. The Queenslanders weren't happy, but you know, a lot of I think the media guys got a lot out of Gal's honest interview the other day. And,
they love it, and
you know, it's also for him. He knows he has to bring his A game, like he will anyway. It's Origin, but you know, it's a bit of pressure on him too to sort of stand up, and I dare say he will. He always does, and should be a good game. Looking forward to it.
100%. Just changing gears here a bit.
Yep.
What you do a lot of work off the field, and you've honestly, I'm trying to think of a mate I've known that has done as much charity work as you do. What kind of motivated you? You do work for Mission Australia.
Yeah. So last year, I sort of helped them with indigenous kids, just try and help them the transition from school into work, and sort of using it, just trying to mentor them and try and, you know, give them advice when I can, sort of. Be that shoulder to sort of lean, like, you know what I mean, just sort of being a support person for him. And, you know, a lot of the guys looked up to me, and I got a lot out of it. It was very rewarding, even seeing guys graduate and different things. I can honestly say some of them moments is something I'll hold, you know, forever, and I get a lot out of it. You know, it's good playing footy and all that. I love me footy, and footy's been a platform to where I want to be. For me personally, I think I have a lot of footy players have a loud voice in the community, and you know, we do make a big difference in the community, and it's something I've always been very passionate about, and something you know, you get them butterflies when you see kids graduate or stay in school or get work, and it's really good. I enjoy it.
the funny thing is that the kids that you do help, they would get a lot out of it. Don't get me wrong, but honestly, I feel like whenever I've done anything, whether it be go to a kids' hospital or whatever, I feel like I got more out of it. I feel like I was the one that it meant so much to me, and it made me really put things in perspective.
Yeah,
it's crazy to think that you actually get so much out of helping the kids.
Yeah, and it's like I said, I started out when I was in Canberra when I was about 20. I got involved, I think, 20 or 21, and I started out going to the juvenile justice with a guy named Kenny Nagers, who's an absolute legend at Canberra, and he worked with the police and got me involved in going to the juvenile justice, and I started playing touch with the kids, and I got a lot out of it. It's sort of them days where, we're having a tough day, you go out there and mix in with the kids and you see the struggles that they go through, and you help them and put smiles on their face, not just there, but different groups I was working with. It's it's very rewarding, and I know I'm making a difference. So it's something I've been doing for a while now, and I'm doing more education things. I want to put my own program out there soon, and it's something that post footy that I'll be heavily involved in.
So people can go to for the listeners, they can go to www.missionaustralia.com.au.
Yep.
They can go to, there's another kind of campaign, I guess it's called a campaign, up in Queensland that they're running. It's called Deadly Choices. I'm actually, funny story, coming out of school, I'd learnt about the indigenous culture and all that kind of stuff in school, but I'd never actually had any kind of interaction with indigenous at all.
Yep.
And so coming out of school, I came from soccer to rugby league, and obviously indigenous and rugby league is they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
I actually essentially had a second family that took care of me, never asked for a penny, fed me, literally did everything for me, and it was my first kind of realization of such a core difference in indigenous culture compared to kind of the white Western culture of this family, this sharing. It's so obvious once you actually experience it. A lot of people, they don't know that indigenous culture really is so different in so many ways that it's kind of palpable when you're a part of it, and it's something that I feel it can be educated more, like it can be kind of brought across to the wider community that indigenous culture is different, and it's not really, it's not less or more, it's just a different thing that people need to respect. And I feel like
you're right there, and it's I don't think it's just indigenous culture. I think it's many cultures. I think it's many religions. I think it's all different groups that the Western world struggle. Even myself from different groups, that understand or a lack of education. And I think to close the gap.
That's another thing.
Initiative that's another thing that that we're trying to get on board and get it out there. But there's a lot of things that I think even just indigenous history of what happened, and different issues like that Australians are not. When I say Australians, I say a high percentage of Australians are not really educated on, and the history I think needs to be put into school. But it's not for me to make them decisions. But I think the more education that we get out there, and the more cultural aware that people are, is the less racism and different issues that are still in society today. And it was hard for me. I'm an Indigenous, I'm proud Indigenous. I was brought up with my family, and it's also being fair skin. It was sort of, I had that, you're
on the kind of line of
and I always overheard conversations where people would feel comfortable to talk about Indigenous people, not really knowing that. And I've sort of, when I was growing up, I heard different people have different conversations where it would hurt me inside, because I saw myself as a proud Indigenous person, and I'd even when we'd play touch footy, I'd be put on the white fella side. But that's okay, and I understand all that. But I still think there's still a lack of.
It's a bit of ignorance.
It is, and I think we've still got a long way to go.
Definitely.
I see on Facebook and different social medias, just when Australia Day comes up for Indigenous people, that's a day of mourning, and they have every right. We have every right to don't want to celebrate Australia 100%. Day, but it's sort of, you see different statuses and people that are writing outrageous things that you can see that Australia's got a massive issue, and that's it. You know, I can do as much as, you know, but it needs to be coming from higher than me, and you know, that's another thing that.
Well, that's the frustrating thing, is that it's the fact that people don't realise that. I mean, I kind of, when I think about it or I talk about it to my family or my friends, I say to them, like, think about it like this. Let's reverse the roles and say, you're in your home country, you're a minority. Yep. Everywhere you go, you see, let's say you see Indigenous doctors, you see Indigenous teachers, you see Indigenous, and you're the minority. Imagine that feeling of feeling like, oh, wait a second, this is my home, but I feel like the Prime Minister, you know, not that there's anything wrong with it, but it is, it's definitely a feeling that it exists.
Yeah, it's definitely, I think it's, you know, something that we're a long way away from, you know, solving or even working towards fixing at the moment. And I think, I don't know, the government do put a lot of programs out there, and they do, you know, fund a lot of money, but, you know, it's just, I think we need to work as, you know, as one and unite as one. And it's not just saying Indigenous, I'm speaking for, if it's Muslim or if it's different religions or different nationalities. I think as Australia, you know, having these healthy conversations is a way to sort of fix these problems.
Also, I feel like every time I've spoken to, you know, like when I've spoken to Indigenous people about these issues, honestly, the fact that you're acknowledging it is nearly as much, like, it means so much just to acknowledge, hey, there is an issue here, and they can kind of take it from there, if you know what I mean. Like, if you sit here and say, I'm a white person, I understand there's a struggle going on, I understand that, I will never understand your pain, but I understand it's there. Yeah, that's nearly half the battle. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of Indigenous leaders, they're not sitting here saying, look, we don't have issues, we don't have problems. We're saying we have issues, please acknowledge them and just give us that respect kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, I think, you know, as a rugby league player, as a guy that's come out of a small community or small town called Ivanhoe, it's for me now that I've, you know, playing NRL and I've got a voice in the community. I think it's guys like me and other guys to really stand up and play our part in, you know, helping, you know, different, you know, if it's Indigenous or it's a disadvantage, or if it's you know, to sort of get out there and be, you know, work in these communities and, you know, be them role models and sort of show people you know, to break that cycle and to get out of these environments. And you know, you don't have to be a star NRL player. You could, you know, be a builder, just work towards these goals and the dreams. And I've sort of done a bit of work with the NRL, you know, the Dream, Believe, Achieve program. You know, the NRL's done a lot of work with different programs, and the welfare over the years is just, it's gone unbelievable. Like, welfare education part of the NRL has really
picked up its game.
Really picked up, and it's really good to be a part of. And you know, they've got some good guys in there that I'm, you know, when I voice, if I want to do something, they get on board and really back me, and which has been really pleasing.
And here's some hard statistics. So instead of we're not talking vague things here like, oh, there's a problem, whatever. For instance, in Western Australia, Indigenous kids are 53 more times likely to go to prison. 80% of the inmates are Aboriginal, and yet they only make up 3% of the population. Indigenous women incarceration rate is gone up 74%. 1 in 4 deaths in custody are Indigenous. That's just one part of the problem. I mean, when you look at when I look at those numbers, I just can't believe that exists in today's day and age.
It's absolutely terrible, and you know, we need to do something. And you know, it's all good and well for us guys having these conversations, but you know, guys higher up and in the government need to really, you know, I don't know if they're putting the funding or into the wrong. I'm not too sure, but we need to lower these and close the gap in all across health, everything, education. We, you know, and I'm doing my best as a footy player, and I think, you know, rugby league is a platform for me. You know, post football, I've got big dreams, and I've having my own programs out there to help kids break cycles and reduce some of these numbers, statistics. But at the moment, you know, it's just having these conversations and, you know, hopefully people out there, you know,
actually let it affect them and actually think about and empathise.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So, you know.
So rugby league in the Indigenous kind of community, it's huge. It means a lot. And do you feel that as an Indigenous kid growing up, do you feel that rugby league was a really good way for you to stay focused, you know, stay away from all the kind of bad cycle and just kind of break that cycle and achieve something you wanted to?
Yeah, of course. And, you know, I grew up in a few different little country towns and, you know, where domestic violence or alcohol and drugs and different issues were there, and you know you're in that environment, you see that, and sometimes you know it becomes a normal thing, and you know you look up and that's what you see, and like you see your mum and dad doing things, or I'm not saying my mum and dad or anything, but I'm just saying that's the environment that you see, and it was for rugby league and for people in my life that sort of helped me in that direction. I met my dad later in life, and him and my nan and other family members got to help me get into a boarding school, which was good, and that's where I started playing footy on a regular basis, and it sort of helped me. I was signed by Melbourne, but you know it is a way for kids to get out, but you know not everyone's going to be. You know, I'm very lucky. You know, I was lucky enough to be picked up, and I trained and I sort of worked hard and got to where I am. But you know, you don't have to, like I say, you can be a school. You can work towards anything. It's just using the people around you, I guess, and that's what I did. And you know, I'm lucky to be here.
It's also about just giving Indigenous kids the opportunity. I mean, if you just give them the chance to see. Give them a chance within the context of their culture to whatever direction they want to go within what their lifestyle is.
Yeah,
and I think that's right. That's the key.
That is the key, and you know, it's all, you know, it's hard to say for these kids to eat healthy. Like I've been out to Kenya and you know spoke about eating healthy, staying fit. Just work I did with the NRL that I approached them about getting out to Menindee, Broken Hill, Kenya, and you know, it was for me to go there and speak. You know, I remember Andrew Ryan come with me, and I asked, you know, for the kids to put their hand up who's had a healthy breakfast, and you know, it was a shock for him to sort of see that. And I think, you know, it's hard for some of these communities because the prices of the healthy food is skyrocket, which is, you know, you'd think for a government, if they want, you know, diabetes and different health problems to reduce, you'd think the prices of the healthy food would be, you know, so small compared to what the chips and the unhealthy food. And it was hard for me to go up there and preach, you know, eat your veggies, eat your, you know, all these bananas and like, you know what I mean, when it's skyrocketing, and sometimes, you know, to survive you have to do what you got to do and eat what you got to do. And you know, it was one of the best trips I had 3 days out there, and I come back and it was so good seeing some of the smiles on the kids' faces out there, and you know the skills and the, you know, the freaky footy sort of touch footy. It was good. You know,
it's just like the natural ability of Indigenous kids.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like, I mean, the amount of Indigenous kids that I've just seen that have this, it's just untaught. What I just can't, you know what I mean? I can't explain it. It's just untaught. It
is. It's very freaky. And you look at guys like Greg Inglis and the best players in the world, and Jonathan Ferguson. And
so unfair.
It's I wish I had a bit more talent. But anyway, it's it is very. It's freaky.
Well, you speaking of going out to the remote kind of areas, my brother works as a doctor in Tennant Creek, in Northern Territory, and he said, what people don't realise, until you actually see how hard it is out there, you just have we're so insulated here in the city, and we've got so many chances to do whatever we want. Until you actually go and see what little chance these kids have, you don't really it's easy to dismiss something that isn't kind of in your face.
It's one of them, the saying is, you know, unless you walk in their shoes, it's easy for people to
judge.
And it's easy for people to say, oh, they're just alcoholics, or they're just, they've got no idea. They're not in the environment. They're not out there, and it's always angers me, seeing different, even people in the media and that have come out and said different things, and it hurts sometimes. And what do? You're sitting there and you read this stuff, or you see it on TV, and you have your opinion, and you'd love to take them out there in different communities and see the love and the different stuff and the battles that people face. But it's not just Indigenous Australians. We've seen Struggle Street with with the suburb of Mount Druitt and the outrage. And I don't think it was right what SBS. How
just
the
way I didn't like the way
they done it. And they done it for viewers, and they done it for but it did open the eyes up of a lot of people, and the struggle out there is real, and the more people we have, it's not just rugby league play, but just people out there in the community, just involved in the community, and being role models and pushing these kids and mentoring these kids. We can change lives forever. A lot of people's lives, and it's something a gift that rugby league's given me, and that I'm very grateful for.
So growing up, you said you went to a boarding school and you played footy.
Yep.
When was the decision of this could be something that I could do forever?
Yeah, so I started when I was younger. I played at Wagga, but then I moved to Condobolin, and then I moved to Gundagai. So I played footy here and there, bits and pieces, but never on a regular basis. And I had a year at Gundagai, and which I loved, and then I moved back out to Ivanhoe, so I sort of was all over the shop, and I wasn't really settled. But once I went to boarding school, I was settled, and I was doing the training, and in a team environment. And then I was picked up by Melbourne Storm at 15, so I was lucky, 15, 16, and
you would have been the man.
No, I was wearing my scholarship gear all around me. We training shirts everywhere.
How many of your mates would have been like, give us some gear, bro?
I remember when the contract come through, I was just getting around the door. So that was good, and I went down there and really got taken out of my comfort zone. I finished school, year 12, and I was lucky enough to play Australian schoolboys, and went over there and had a tour overseas, and we were
what was that like for you?
Unbelievable. We had guys on our side like Izzy, Big Izzy, Folau, Chrissy Sandow, Willie Matthews and the team. It was freaks. Mitchell Pearce, it was freaks across the side, and went over there, and it was good. A country boy to go overseas.
You would have been just wide eyed.
I was, and I was like, it was good for me. But even flying on the plane over there for that, you know what I mean?
Because that would have been the first time you left the country, eh?
Yeah, it was. So I think it was. Yeah. So anyway, so I come back from that. Then I went down to Melbourne full-time training as an 18-year-old, and not really doing fitness, not really doing weights. I still don't do my weights probably now, but I was out of my comfort zone, and I got absolutely, I got tested and pushed to the limits, and I was missing home, and I was ringing me nan and ringing different people, going, I've had enough, and I told Craig Bellamy, I've had enough. This is too much, and but I taught myself to stick in there and hang in there, and it was an easy option for me to walk away and jump on a bus and go home and quit. And many other kids done it, and many other people done it, and I stuck through it. And there was times there I'd be running the ball into guys like Brett White or Kafusi, and big guys at the Melbourne Storm that time. And Jeff Lima, I remember him rocking my head back, and it was hard, but it taught me to be resilient and come over adversity. And I learnt that, and I'm very grateful for that tough time, because it set me up, to where I am now, and to get through them tough times. And I was lucky enough to sign to Canberra. I wanted to move closer to home, which is fair enough. I was at Melbourne by myself, and I went to Brisbane, but went down to Canberra, made some good friends, met my beautiful wife, had kids, so it all worked out. But that's just the way it is. That's my path.
And getting to Canberra, you made your debut at Canberra, didn't you?
Yeah, so I was in the 20s. I went down there and saw guys like Alan Tung and Joshy Miller. I was very lazy, and I had lazy traits. I was still, I didn't have a footballer's body either. I was very, I was unfit. I didn't eat properly. I was eating absolutely rubbish. I didn't even know what carbs and protein
Your body was a theme park, pretty much.
Yeah. I was just, I was drinking I was just drinking and just treating myself absolutely. So I didn't.
But I mean,
it took me a lot of
years. That education either, though.
No, I did, but I don't think I took it on board. I don't think I really, took it all in and actually I wasn't in like other teams. I was out in the country in under 18, so I wasn't around, down here in Harold Mats or SG Ball where it's professional and you train and you eat well and everyone's doing that. I was out in the country and I was enjoying it, having a drink.
Well, it's not really part of that kind. It's a different culture.
It's a different culture, and it took me a while, but I went there and seen guys like Alan Tung and Joshy Miller training and absolutely pushing himself to. It was crazy.
Joshy Miller is an animal.
He's an animal.
Actual animal.
I was just. It took me a long time to sort of get that mentality and try and push myself and train. And I'm still learning it today, sort of. But it's
you learn every year, I reckon. Every year you continue to kind of,
and that's from training better and being more professional and looking after yourself. And I've realised now, eating well, not drinking, not rewarding yourself with drinking so much, and sort of picking your times and it plays a part in your footy. And I've learned that culture here again and. You learn bits and pieces, and I think it's part of maturing, but that's been really good.
What was the catalyst or what was the decision when you came to St. George? Because from what I know, from what I've heard from people in Canberra, that you've got an extremely tight-knit group there. So, from everyone that I've asked, it's a unique kind of vibe in Canberra because it's such a insulated area where everyone kind of knows everyone. How hard was the decision, firstly, and also what was the catalyst to make you move to St. George?
So it was hard to leave because I've got some very close mates there, and my wife's family's from there, so we had a lot of friends there. And there was a few different personal issues, and I felt like I wasn't challenging myself, and I felt like I was just going through the motions. And when you as a footballer, as you know, like when you start going through the motions and you're
footies doesn't start.
I just wanted to challenge and just take myself out of that comfort zone and just in cruise mode. And I've definitely done that coming here. We had a little one, and my missus was away from her family, and we had a little one, Louis Miti, and my stepdaughter as well, Bella, she was starting high school. We were away from everyone, and there was some challenging times there. We had some different issues back in Canberra that we probably, we were like, did we do the right thing? Did we make the right decision? And I wasn't enjoying my footy as as a footballer, you got to be happy to enjoy your footy, and 100%. I wasn't really enjoying it, and it was an option for us to go back to Canberra, and and we sat down with my wife and we went over it, and Mary come in and sort of sat me down and told me where he thought of me and what he
at this stage Pricey was still the coach.
So he was so Pricey was still the coach as when I was getting a release to go back to
and
Canberra.
That's the hard thing a lot of people don't realise is like when you don't know who your coach is going to be, it's so hard to decide your future because like the coach is such an important role in a player's ability to perform or whatever. And Pricey, great guy and he's a good coach, but it just didn't seem to be working out. So it would have been a hard decision.
Pricey was good, and I just think I had not just the footy side, but I had different things off the field that were probably affecting me too, and that I didn't probably stay on top of, and I'm happy that I stuck it out, and show even my kids when things get tough, it's hang in there, get through it, and I'll pass that on to them and try and teach that to them. And it could have been very easy for me to, pack up and go back to support and comfort and get back to Canberra. And Canberra's such a great club and some great people there, and the staff, and the whole club itself, and but I stuck it out and stayed here, and I'm very happy. And
because I reckon you're playing your best footy you've ever played, your most consistent kind of error-free good footy.
I think that comes from doing everything right off the field as well, like eating right and drinking when you're not injured, and just different things. And you don't realise until you start doing these little things repeating that and getting that consistency. And that's something I didn't do before. And I'd drink a win, a lose, injury, whatever, and it would affect your footy, and it'd be up and down. It'd be a roller coaster. And I think, I sort of got that professionalism and the support of my wife as well. She helps me along the way, and I'm probably not the easiest person to put up with, but she does a good job, and she, it's good to have a partner like her who, helps me in every way. If it's, with the work I do, I'll take a lot of time away from the family, and if I'm, doing stuff with Mission Australia, or even if I'm going to do she supports me in a lot of ways, and she's been a big,
Well, I mean, a lot of people don't realise being a footy player's wife. It's you see that people will be like, oh, it's good, he's a successful man, all that kind of stuff. But it's a tough, she had to move away from her whole family.
Yeah,
and be with you.
And also, she had a really good job at immigration, and for her to pack up and leave that job and leave her family and all her friends where she's grown up, it was tough for her, and but she done it because of the love of me, and and we're happy here now.
Huge credit to her.
Huge credit, and all the partners, not just my partner, but partners that move over to the UK or come over from New Zealand. They all do a great job, and they're very supportive, and they play a big part in the way we perform too. And it's about it's a credit to her.
You spoke of Mary coming in as you were choosing whether you just decide to get a release or not.
Yeah.
How good has it been working under Mary? It's the first time he's been a first grade coach. I played under him. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Are you really enjoying being under an ex tough player? He a lot similar to you, really, like in position. He was on the edge, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a centre, but it's really good. He's come in and he's brought new staff in, and fixed up the facility, which has been really good. And it's a whole different vibe there. We're building a good culture. We're working hard, and we're pushing each other. We're having honest conversations.
I think that's one thing I enjoyed about Mary. He was a guy that you felt like you could trust, and he was really honest about things.
Yeah, he was really honest, and he, I didn't play the best against the Bulldogs, and he's very honest about it. And you take that on board, and you learn from that, and that's the way you improve. It hurts your feelings. You don't want to hear that stuff, but it's I don't sleep that night. But at the end of the day, that's what I've got to do to be in the team, and I have to do to make sure they're getting the best out of me, and I'm performing and I'm playing my best. So, it's good. He's really good, and he's a good people's person as well, and he's brought a good culture in. It's good to be a part of.
So you've just recently been injured. You did your PCL,
yeah,
and that's going to be what, 2 or 3 weeks, you reckon?
2 to 3. It's hard to say. It just depends how the swelling is and how I'm running, and it's one of those injuries. It's the hard surface at ANZ. I hit a hard patch and I come down. It's one of those freak things, and it's just, you don't even actually really need the ligament. It's at the back there. That you don't even use it, I think, but it's still in there. But it's just annoying at the moment, and as much as I'd love to strap it up and get out there, it's just I need to get it right and look after myself and making sure I'm right for the next game 100%.
So you're injured now. What would be something that you kind of do away from footy that you enjoy, other than obviously charities and working with kids? Is there anything you do other than footy that you enjoy?
I spend time with my family. With my little one, she's growing up, so she's starting to where I can take her to the park and do things.
She'll be 2?
Yeah, she's 2 in a couple of months, but in a few months actually. But no, but she's starting to grow where she's starting to get more active and stuff. So I spend time with them a fair bit, and I absolutely love it. It's something I really enjoy. But I just, at the moment, when you're injured, you're in the rehab. I'm in there by myself at the moment, so it's pretty challenging sometimes mentally.
Yep.
Like they say, when no one's watching, it's you gotta push yourself to train, and
definitely.
And it's been good for me, but it's hard, watching and not being a part of the team, and you're only human, feeling left out sometimes, and not feeling left out, but not being part of the team.
Well, you want to be in there with everyone.
Yeah, you want to be in there and out there and tackling and doing all the training and ripping in.
It always seems whenever you're on the bike, they're having the best time ever.
Yeah,
it sucks.
Yeah. So, but it's part of footy, and I can't whinge and get down in that, because there's other guys out there that's worse than me, and there's, I'm still putting in the hard work, and I'll get back.
You're 25 now?
26.
26. So you would have played nearly 100 games, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I've got 100 and I don't know really, but
it's over 100.
120 or maybe around there.
So 26 now. Let's say you play 20 games for 4 more years. You can get up there, bro. You could get up to easy 200 by the end of your career.
A long-term goal would be 200, but as you know, with footy, you never know if it's touch wood, no injuries. Form, you can be in form one day, you can be out of... It's just trying to keep all that, and stay on top of things. And, it'd be a goal of mine to sort of reach 200. And
Is St. George a place you feel like you want to stay for quite a while? Settled into Wollongong now?
Yeah, it's a great... Like I said, it's a great culture. It's a great club. There's a great bunch of boys there, but...
you'll be moving towards a leadership role soon. I mean, eventually.
I'm part of the leadership group.
Okay. Well,
which has been good.
Yep.
It's different for me. It's normally when I was at Canberra, I was going in,
saying
pup. Sorry and saying, getting a talk from the leaders and sort of for my off-field issues. So it was a good change up to be in there and be a part of it. And it comes as maturity as well, because back then I used to bag out leaders and think, they were steros and, But now,
is that something? Does that mean something to you now? Like, kind of like this is kind of a mark of how far I have come. Mentally. Does it mean like I'm happy to be here now? I'm past all the bullshit. And
I think it is, and I think it's a part of growing up, and I've grown up a lot more from the help of my wife, and even times there when times are tough, and she's helped me in every way, and. It's a credit to her as well, but it's good being part of the leadership group, and we've got a good group in there, and so St. George, I'd love to be a part of for as long as I can, as long as they want me. But even post football, I could see me and my family settling down in Wollongong. We love it here. It's a great place. It's a beach. It's close to Sydney. It's it's only a couple of hours from Canberra. It's got everything, and it's a great working class sort of town. I love it.
So you obviously love tattoos.
Yeah.
What's give us the story behind your passion for tattoos?
Well, my group of friends, I've got some of my best friends have got tattoos, and I got my first tattoo on my hip. I won't show you, but it's of a girl I was dating at the time when I was about 16, 17. So I was pretty bad. That was my first one, and I won't say the name or embarrass anyone, but it was, I was going to training, going, yeah, look at me tattoo, but the boys were like, what have you done? But I got that ink over when I went to Vegas, got it all, coloured in, which was good. But all the rest, they all mean something to me. I've got my pop on my left, family on my right. I've got on my back, I've got my hometown. I've just always had a passion for it, and I always loved it, and I always loved the art of it. And, it's something I enjoy, and hopefully one day I can get a premiership one on there. I want to get my kids on me somewhere, and just building bits and pieces. Every piece, it means something to me. It's got a story behind it. So when I look at it,
it reminds you.
It reminds me of something. It's something special, and people have their opinions on tattoos, but
So well, I was going to say, you're one of the nicest guys I know. And yet you look like a bikie. If I saw you in the street, I'd be just walk the other way. If I was with my missus, I'd be like, let's just go the other direction. Nah. This guy's going to fight me or something. How is that? How is that for you? I mean, as in being stereotyped.
Yeah, everyone's going to stereotype you anyway. I think if you got tattoos or not, when people are always going to judge you, and I think I just get judged on that side. But that's just the way it is. I think in society there's more people getting. Yeah, I think a lot of more people are getting tattoos, and it's the cool thing to do. But I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
Whatever. People want to call me whatever.
They don't like it. They don't like it. So you said you had some programs you wanted to do after footy. What kind of programs are you looking at?
So I'm in the process at the moment, putting a program together. Just hopefully get it turned into a booklet. It's been slow at the moment. I've been caught up in my diploma with TAFE, so I've had a bit of other work to do at the moment. But once I finish it, I want to turn it into a booklet and start, approaching schools and doing a pilot run in different schools and see how it goes. But down the track, I'll use Alan Tung. He's got a program in juvenile justice.
Oh, really?
In the juvies and in a few different schools, and he's such a great guy. And I've sat down with him, and my other friend Glenn Buttress, we've sat down with him, and we've taken in a lot of information. He's helped us along the way. So post football, I'd like to work with NRL or Mission Australia or a different organisation that I've done some work with, but hopefully have a program in some juvenile justice, maybe just just giving some kids some life skills and different skills and tools and strategies they can use once they're released. And, I think that I can make a big difference. And like I said, the NRL's, I'm very grateful for where it's put me now. And I know I can get out there and I can change lives. And I'm looking forward to it.
If there's a young Indigenous kid listening now, or what would you say to a young Indigenous kid now that's struggling? He loves footy or he loves something. What would be kind of something you'd say to, let's say, a 15-year-old JT or a or a 13-year-old JT that's in high school? He's got shit going on everywhere. Yeah. What would you say to him?
It's hard because it's different circumstances and different challenges. And I'd say use the people around you, the ones that really care for you. Yep. Even your teachers. There's going to be a teacher there that's going to back you. And I've had teachers in my life that at the time I probably looked at them and thought, no, like they're not helping me. But some of the networks of teachers or youth workers or a family member, if it's your uncle, it's your mum, there's people out there that's going to support you. Use them the best you can, and look at them people to make them proud. If it's a family, work towards little goals, set little goals for yourself. If it's going to school every day for that month, and you work and you build into them habits and you build good habits. And it's not easy for any types of kids to you got to work hard towards it. And so I think it's doing these little things repeatedly and setting good habits and using people around you. You can work towards anything. You set goals of finishing year 10 and you work towards finishing year 12. It's sort of having that mindset and
just some short-term goals.
Little goals like that. I think always, they always help and work, and it's something that I'll put into my program and and stay in there, work hard. So stay humble and work hard.
Definitely. So just to reiterate, that's missionaustralia.com.au that you would go to if you want to help in any kind of way.
Yeah, you can get in touch with them guys, or you can even go to your local. Get on the internet, get on Google if you want to be, volunteer in any way. There's, some of these organisations are screaming out for help, and the more mental. You don't have to be a rugby. You can be anyone out there, and you can go out there and help and play your part. And I can tell you right now, you'll go home and. You're
not going to regret it.
You don't. No, you feel good, and you want to do it more and more. And once you start, I remember I started out with Kenny Nagus, and the more I've done, the more work, the more I started. I got a lot out of it, and I started. My wife contacted a few different organisations and got in contact with Australian Indigenous Leadership Centre, and I started volunteering there. Just go in there and do the files and just to learn. And I was lucky enough to help with them to put a program together, and we put a program together over 6 weeks, and it was a life skills program to teach them. The basic sort of skill, like just stuff about if it's we learn about culture, we learn about banking, we learned health, eating healthy, and different stuff like that. And their graduation was on Close the Gap round at Canberra got on board. The Raiders were very supportive, and they graduated at half time, and it was probably one of the proudest moments to date. And to see some of the people up there with certificates, and it was a pretty touching moment. And
it's crazy.
That's how it's
what you just said there with banking, eating healthy. It's crazy what we take for granted. Hey,
it is, and it's teaching these skills. It's not just Indigenous, but different groups and different people that struggle with. It's just more about getting out there and sort of helping.
So we're changing it up a bit. I ask every guest, favourite movie?
Chopper. Back up me tattoos.
Were you in Chopper?
Yeah. I want to get a roll in the second one. There's one there.
That was a quick answer, Chopper. Jeez.
Yeah, I love Chopper. I like the chop.
Is that one of the best Australian movies of all time?
Oh,
it's got to be up there.
It would be up there.
It's got to be up there.
Yeah. Honestly, it's my favourite.
Let's put it at the bit. He's in the prison. He's like, Chop, you're not mad, are you?
Yeah. He's a legend, Chop. Favourite rapper, past and present. don't know. You'd have to go safety and go 2-pack. And
That's the third. That's the third.
This is the third one.
Oh,
well,
man.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
And the current one, I don't know. Whoever really, I don't know. Whatever's top 10.
You just stick with the oldies.
Yeah, old school.
All right, bro. Thanks so much for coming.
Nah, thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it.
You know, the viewers, I really hope you take a bit out of it and get involved. Get on Google and type in get involved in something. It doesn't have to be big, but
yep.
You'll get you can make a difference and you'll get a lot out of it too, and it'll snowball for you guys. You can really you'll connect with something and you'll get something. You'll find the passion in you, and that's what it's done for me. And the passion's there, and I can't wait till I can get out there and do more work. And thanks for having me. It's good to see you, mate. It's a great thing you're doing, and
thanks, man.
I'm happy to be a part of it and supporting it.